What is up, you guys? I'm Rebekkah, and I'm wearing my 90mm merch today. Yes, I'm listening to Vaporwave. Fuck you if you think that's lame. Okay, no, not fuck you if you think that's lame, because I mean, you know, it's valid to cringe. I just like it anyways, alright? There's a reason I'm wearing this merch today, and that's because I'm gonna talk about something that might annoy PewDiePie fans. Woo! I realized that a lot of my friends, especially those who know me from Santa Fe or like know me from after I stopped doing Facebook, they don't realize that I used to be like alt-right kind of. I hate to admit that, but like I identified as an anti-feminist at one point. Let's just let that sink in for a second, you guys. Like, to disagree with certain aspects of third wave feminism is one thing, but to literally just identify as an anti-feminist, we've grown, we've changed, that's good. So we're gonna talk about how that happened, basically. Like, how I went from, like, libtard cuck to alt-right cringe to pretty reasonable, I think. But, you know, I might look back and be like, oh my god, I was so cringy in 2019. We're gonna follow that, that path of how I got there, basically. Y'all may not like why I'm wearing this merch. Ooh, stay tuned. I keep eating all the almonds I'm soaking for almond milk. Oh. So where do we start? My dad is pretty much a hippie. His mom was a literal hippie. You know, he was like an 80s dude, whatever, more into like rock and roll and like heavier stuff, you know, more angsty. The 80s were very angsty. But regardless, he's pretty hippie vibes. He's always been like left, you know what I mean? All through high school, kids aren't necessarily gonna be thinking for themselves till they get to that age, but basically up till that point I was like, Democrats are right, blue is right, the left is right, like as in correct. Smart people are on the left and dumb people are on the right, pretty much. That's pretty much how I saw it, like the most like black and white, reductive, like stereotyping kind of BS. When did that change? This video is just gonna be me lip syncing Vaporwave. So when I was 17, junior year of high school, your girl got super depressed. I got so depressed that I finally understood what people meant when they were like, I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I always thought like, oh, people are just like lazy or like they don't wanna get. I could not bring myself to do it. Like, I didn't have the will in me to get out of bed. So I stopped going to school, dropped out, basically because they called one day towards the end of the year and they were like, if your daughter misses one more day of school, we're just gonna expel her. And I was like, I'm not going back, bye. So when I wasn't in school, there was like a 1.5 year long period where I was just not working, smoking weed, watching stuff on the internet. Like, I'm not proud of it, and the older I get, and the further I go, and the more I achieve, the more I'm like, God. But I was depressed, I was 18, and, 17, 18, and that's not an excuse, but that's what was going on, and I was just going through some shit. I didn't even realize how shitty I was being, basically, to my parents, and just using them. I think the first thing that opened me up to other political views that I normally thought were like, duh, wrong, was actually David Icke. If you've never heard of David Icke, he's basically this old white dude, as they often seem to be, but he's this old guy, and he is like a crazy conspiracy theorist. Now, I'm not saying that he's insane and like everything he says is a lie, okay? I'm into conspiracy theories. I think there's a lot of stuff in them that's really, really true, but this guy believes a lot of stuff that there's just not really evidence for. Part of like all the different conspiracies that he goes around talking about is climate change. He is anthropogenic climate change. That's what it's called, right? Man caused. He's a denier of that. He references what people normally reference, which is like the ice cores and stuff, and they say, oh, they're using climate change to get us to do all this stuff, whatever. I heard him out for about a year. I was like on and off kind of watching his videos, watching his different lectures and stuff, and the thing is, like, I'll entertain almost any idea for a hot sec until, I need to stop eating these almonds, oh my god, until I've researched it thoroughly and I've heard the idea out thoroughly and I've heard the case to be made for it, and then from there, once I've heard the case to be made, you know, I'll be able to tell if it's a good case or a bad case, you know what I mean? If it's worth committing to this sort of idea or taking it more seriously, or if it's like, nah. So I spent about a year researching his stuff. I even supported The People's Voice when it came out, but that ended up being a total fucking sham. A lot of their stuff is really shady, and he's in it for the money a lot. Anyways, moving on from David Icke, even after I stopped listening to David Icke though, and like watching his stuff, there was still another several months where I was still considering, like, I was on the fence about climate change, whether or not it was caused by humans, but then you just actually look into it more, and it's like, I don't know why it took me so long, honestly. I can't say I was always doing the best research, you know what I mean? I definitely took my time on certain things, but these days I'm a lot faster because I've gotten learning about conspiracy theories down to a science on the internet, you know? I'm not just like hearing stuff out for the first time. I'm like, oh, there's a conspiracy theory? Let's fucking spend the next 3 days figuring out if it's true, huh? Not that I know. I'm still eating the almonds! Oh, I need to cook. Hey, future Rebekkah here. I'm doing like my last review of this video, last edit kind of thing before I upload, and I'm sorry I'm eating so much here. I hadn't eaten all day. I was so hungry. I was just like loving the cheese. I'm sorry if you hate eating sounds. I tried to edit out like most of the eating, but some of it I'm like talking while I'm eating because I'm just like so hungry, you guys. Okay, please understand. A girl was hungry. All right, here you go. I'm gonna make a quesadilla. After maybe like a year and a half of questioning whether or not humans were causing climate change, I realized that I think they are, because just because the planet's been warmer before doesn't mean that it's natural no matter what the rate is at which we're warming. Like, normally things happen at a natural rate, not an accelerated one because of what we're doing, so I guess around the end of Gamergate is when I started really getting exposed to a lot of those ideas because I'm really into YouTube. I always have been. That's pretty much when the commentary genre became a thing on YouTube, is around that time. That also, I think, is what kind of exposed me to a lot of those ideas, just because a lot of the commentary community originally was right-leaning. Like, the most left you got was pretty much like a centrist. YouTube for maybe like a year and a half became like a bit of a right-wing echo chamber, honestly. It was just a lot of people on one side of things really having the biggest voices. For the first time, I was hearing right-wing ideas from the mouths of people who actually believe in them and take them seriously, and not from the mouths of people on the left who are mocking people on the right. And so that's when I kind of first realized, oh, the left is shitty too, and they'll lie and mock people, you know, and that's not cool. That's not what I'm about. So I was like, oh gosh. So I started hearing these guys out, and it wasn't hard for me to agree with all the people making fun of like the feminists that were acting crazy. And so then, of course, they get stereotyped, the feminists do, as SJWs or whatever, and I can at least empathize with these people and see where they're coming from. So I started to be center. I started to identify as a centrist because, I mean, I thought I was still kind of left, but people on the left were calling me right-wing and people on the right were calling me left-wing, so I was like, must be center. Violife is the best vegan cheese. Oh my god. It's just so good. As I was starting to think that maybe I was center-right, I accidentally stumbled upon Freely the Banana Girl. I don't like a lot of the stuff she's done. I'm not the biggest fan of like Raw Till 4, you know, I'm not even really a fan at all, actually. I don't support her, but she was like one of the first vegan YouTube channels I ever saw, and now I just consider myself a carnivore and stuff, you know what I mean? Like most, like the staples of my diet were meat and dairy, and like carbs. So there was like this 5-day period where I fell down the rabbit hole of vegan YouTube, basically, because I was expecting to like laugh. I saw a commentary video making fun of Freely, and then I went to her channel to watch her stuff. I was like, wait, this guy kind of cut out, like, I don't even remember who it was, but they cut out like a lot of the stuff she said that made sense. And like, I just kept watching her videos and I was like, wait, like she's kind of rude, but like also like a lot of what she's saying, it makes sense. And then I was like, oh no. And I started watching other vegan YouTubers, and they made even more sense than her, and I was like, oh no, am I gonna have to go vegan? And yeah, a week later, I just replaced all my groceries with vegan stuff and never went back. My favorite vegan YouTuber, Vegan Gains, I found him, cooking up some tofu right now. So, Vegan Gains. Found his channel. He's definitely like more of a commentary channel just through a vegan lens. So I really liked his channel. I disagree with him now probably more than when I first found his channel, but that's okay. I still love his stuff. Still one of my favorite channels on all of YouTube. So because there was like someone making fun of like SJWs in the vegan community, it like really resonated with me, I guess, and I was like, like you can be any type of person and be vegan. Like this isn't just like some weird cringy hippie thing, you know. As much as I've always felt like a hippie chick, I don't know, I guess I just realized vegans weren't that crazy because I was relating to Vegan Gains so much when I first found his channel. When I saw Cowspiracy, I had already come back to the conclusion that, like, yeah, climate change is definitely being accelerated way too fast by human intervention. And then I saw Cowspiracy and I learned about how animal agriculture is responsible for 51% of all greenhouse gas emissions when you combine all the emissions from animal agriculture through the entire process. I realized this is the missing piece. This is why something just felt weird about the story of climate change, I think, because I wasn't ever told about 51% of greenhouse gas emissions, not to mention all the stuff in cow farts and burps or whatever that isn't just methane. It's like nitrous oxide or something. I don't remember if that's exactly what it is.
You want some nitrous oxide? That's what you sell.
But it's basically something that's like several, like many times worse for the ozone than methane. Point is, I was missing a huge chunk of what's going on with our planet, and once I realized, I was like, oh, it all makes flippin' sense now. I was also into Blair White for a hot minute when she was like basically at her peak on YouTube. When I saw her debate with ContraPoints, I subscribed because I was like one of the only people in the chat apparently who realized that ContraPoints was making way more flippin' sense and being way more reasonable than Blair White. I subscribed to ContraPoints. Notice how she has just skyrocketed in subscribers past Blair because Blair is annoying. She went back on veganism because she's too weak-minded to be her own person. Not that most people who've unsubscribed from her care about that, but I care about that, you know what I mean? And ContraPoints, Natalie, she's making a difference. She's standing up and using her voice despite what anyone says to make a positive difference in the world. It's no wonder that she has more subscribers than Blair White. So there was this period where I was still entertaining a lot of alt-right ideas, and even as I stopped entertaining those political ideas as seriously, I still was really into the jokes, okay? I was really into the jokes and like edgy humor and offensive humor, and you know, there's a lot of YouTubers who love that edgy humor, you know what I mean? I'm talking PewDiePie, H3H3, Chris Reagan. God, I'm trying to think. There were more that I used to watch, but it's actually been a while. Those are like 3 of the big names, you know, people on that kind of vibe. Hey, what up? It me. I just wanted to add in here, I do still watch these channels. Well, H3H3, I watch some of their videos. I just don't find Ethan that funny anymore. I feel like he's just gotten kind of annoying. I don't know if it's him or me that's changed, but I love Ela. I'm so happy for them that they had their baby. That's awesome. Not my cup of tea anymore. I love Chris Reagan. I love PewDiePie. I watch every single one of both of their uploads. So like, it's not like I don't watch these people. I think it's important to be aware of the subconscious effect that joking about things can have, but I think I'm gonna get into that now, so, woo! Even people who don't seriously entertain these political ideas often joke about them, and it's not that you can't make jokes about things that are offensive, it's just, if it's the offensiveness alone or the topic alone that makes the joke funny, that pretty much just normalizes those ideas. It makes light of them and it makes people think, oh, this isn't a seriously harmful idea. You know, racism isn't that serious. Now, that's likely going to be on a more subconscious level. I'm not saying people are consciously thinking this or that people are consciously trying to desensitize people, because most people aren't. But, like, if you're gonna make a joke about something that's offensive or has the potential to be like really sensitive to people. For example, if you're gonna make a rape joke, okay? There are ways to make rape jokes, believe it or not. That can be funny. They can be funny, but they have to actually be witty and clever and funny. Just making a joke and the joke is that, like the punchline is that someone got raped, that's not funny. The punchline can't be, here, let me give you an example. In PewDiePie's song, Congratulations, okay? About to cause a genocide so you can call me. Hey, congratulations. Like that, I didn't find that joke very funny, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna genocide the Indians so we can call you Hitler? Like, I don't think anyone who appreciates witty, clever, or intelligent comedy really appreciated that joke. You know what I mean? Love Pewds, love Felix. I paid $50 for this merch. I've been dying to get some, okay? Like, I was all on the subscribe to PewDiePie train, alright? Don't flip and come for me. But I think we can all agree that PewDiePie, that Felix can be a dumb boy sometimes. And that's okay. I can be a dumb chick sometimes. We're all people, alright? But that doesn't mean he can just keep spouting his mouth off about whatever he wants, and like everyone's just gonna agree because he's PewDiePie, like, and anyone who says that he's doing something wrong, well, you're just buying into what the media says about him. Like when did supporting someone start meaning that you have to just be a yes man and agree with everything they do and never question them or criticize them in a respectful way? Anyways, my point with bringing up all those jokes and everything is I wasn't taking right-wing ideas seriously, but like I viewed them as valid as like left-wing ideas, and I kind of just saw it as like both sides are terrible, I'm gonna like stay right here in the center kind of thing and just like not partake, not play a part in it. But when I made jokes, they were almost always at the expense of the left and people on the left, people who support the left. Most of the political ideas that I would choose to critique were still left-wing, even though the right wing was just as valid of criticism, if not more, honestly, because they don't care about the freaking planet, and that is the main thing that we need to worry about right now. Even though I didn't identify with the right, I was still basically almost working as like a little warrior of the right, because I was criticizing the left all the time and not really criticizing the right. Why stop criticizing one group and just start criticizing the other one if they're both equally worthy of criticism? Take a drink every time I say criticize or any form of that word. The environment I was in I was putting myself in online normalized that kind of behavior, and it wasn't as like cool or popular to criticize the right just in the circles I was in online. So even though I didn't identify as right wing, I was still playing a role in that. And it's because people make light of these situations. No one talks about, well, people are now more, thank God, but people weren't talking as much about how like literal modern day fascists like have their little circles online where they talk about how they want to like manipulate people into believing what they believe, you know, manipulate people into supporting fascism, but you can't call it that because people don't like fascism, so you have to sneak it into things. Like, there are certain people, small groups, just like there's certain small groups in the left that are freaking nuts and just being crazy SJWs. There's small circles on the right of literal fascists who understand psychology, who understand how to manipulate the masses because of the internet, and they take advantage of that. They take advantage of people like me who are empathetic and give others the benefit of the doubt, and they prey on that. And not enough people talk about that even today, even though it is being talked about more. I just wish people wouldn't be so black and white about it. I wish more of PewDiePie's fans were willing to call him out on certain things. And it seems like just because he's been overly criticized and obviously wrongly accused of being like alt-right, Nazi, whatever, like now he can't be criticized in regards to any of that stuff because no matter what, you're just an SJW brainwashed cuck. That's kind of my journey down the alt-right pipeline in a nutshell, you know? Basically ContraPoints, Angie Speaks, Vegan Gains, Pop Culture Detective. If I think of any more, I'll put them down with those links, but I'm gonna link all those channels below because they are some of the really cool channels that they're just cool people who are intelligent and educated, and even if they don't get 100% of everything right, no one does, and they talk about some left-wing ideas in not stupid SJW cuck ways. So if you're a smart person who's tired of hearing stupid emotional excuses from crazy people on the left, check out some of those channels, you know, and figure out where you sit. These days I'm just more of an anarchist than anything. I just want to get rid of money and have government take place on the community level, so we'll see if we get there. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, hope you found it interesting. You better have, because we are up to 58.5 minutes of footage that I'm gonna edit now. Not that it's your fault. Subscribe. I'm gonna have a commentary video coming out soon. I'm just waiting on Jackie, who did my outro art. Just waiting for her to finish up some stuff, some art for me, and then I'm gonna do my first like commentary video. So excited, really excited. I mean, I've talked about stuff, but this is gonna be like editing, no face cam, like all kinds of just like good stuff. I'm so stoked. So yeah, stay tuned, subscribe, notice if you want to see that whenever it comes out. Like, dislike, comment, let me know what you think. Constructive criticism in a respectful manner is greatly appreciated. Woo! Have a great day. I'll see you next time.